What's up, YouTube? DJ Kryptonite here, talking boxing, combat sports, and all of that jazz. Before we get started, like, subscribe, comment to all of my videos. I'm approaching 200 subscribers, so that's exciting for me. I'm trying to grow the channel a little bit with things, with something I enjoy talking about, which is boxing. Let's get to it. Um, uh, my This video is going to be primarily about my thoughts on upset season. I really believe it's upset season, um, uh, as evidence of Canelo being taken down by Bivol. Also, Teofimo Lopez lost to Kambosos. Um, I think this is the season. I think people are fighting. The talent is actually fighting each other right now, which is great for boxing. We hadn't had that in a while, and now we're actually getting cross-promotional activity, which is always good, from Sean Porter fighting Terrence Crawford and the like. So I think it's very exciting for boxing where we're getting cross-promotional activity and that sort of thing. So this is great. But let's get right to the video. My thought is, if it's upset season, what I mean is I think Tank Davis is really going to be in a good fight. He's going to be in a good fight. He's going to be in a tough fight with the crazy Rollie Morero. Yeah, he's a little crazy. He talks a lot. He's a character. Like I've always said, he's more like a Prince Nassim Hamed. I believe I remember the boxer from that era, probably about 20 years ago. Prince Nassim Hamed, I believe that was his name, or Hassim Hamed or whatever. But he may have been a little lighter weight. He may have been like a 128, 126, 130. I can't remember, around that weight class. But he reminds me of him. Really reminds me of that guy. The problem is, Rollie, if he doesn't catch Tank early, he's probably going to get knocked out in the mid rounds, or early rounds if you get caught early. But if the fight goes on, I believe Rollie's probably going to get caught because Tank is a much more skilled boxer. So eventually he'll catch up with Rollie. So Rollie does have to knock him out probably within 3 to have a chance. So my prediction is, my original prediction was I thought Rollie was gonna catch him with something. Uh, it's hard to say. I'll stick to the prediction and say, yeah, I think Rollie may catch him with something early if Tank is not on his guard and comes out there angry. So if he doesn't come out angry, he should be fine. As long as he shows some poise and get through that initial wave of power punches that Rollie is probably going to throw early, because he's predicting a first round knockout. I don't know if that would be the case, but that's what he's predicting. On the other side to this season of upsets that we're in, I really think Kambosos has a good chance of stopping Devin Haney. I'm really not convinced of Devin Haney. His skill is there, but I think his hype is his hype. He hadn't really fought anybody. He hadn't been challenged by anybody. So I'm not quite sure where his dog is in him, because I've seen him get touched and he's buckled a couple of times. He hadn't gone down from what I've seen. I don't remember him or recall going down. But Kambosos is going to throw a lot of punches, a lot of power shots, and he's a little awkward. So he moves a little different, but he's an animal. He kind of comes at you. He's a boxer puncher, but he punches in volume. So if Devin Haney, he wants to try to outbox this guy, I don't know if that's going to happen, because I think this guy is going to throw a lot of punches, and unless Devin Haney can slip and make him miss, it's going to be a long night for Haney, and I think he's going to eventually get caught up with. I really think George Kambosos is going to catch up with Devin Haney and TKO him. I don't think he's going to knock him out, but I think he's going to TKO him. So that's my thought on upset season. We have a lot of fights. I think the Triple G fight and Canelo Alvarez fight just came up again. I'm not really interested in that fight, but I don't think Triple G has a chance. I think both fighters should be steroid tested. I think both of them, and this hasn't been substantiated or anything, but I think both may be on steroids at this point. And Triple G, he's kind of been a shell of himself. He really wasn't, to me. He had that kind of freakish knockout power, but I'm really not interested in that fight. I think they both should move on from one another. I think they've had um, enough shots at it, so to speak, and they need to kind of move on to bigger and better things. I think Canelo kind of started to do that, but I think this fight is probably going to generate a lot of money, and it's probably hard for him to turn that down. But again, upset season with Canelo Golovkin. I don't know. I think Canelo's going to probably knock him out this time. My thought will be Canelo by knockout in 6. That's kind of where I am with it, because Golovkin is probably a shell of himself at this point. So I was just surprised that that fight was even made. I don't think a date has been given yet, but we'll see where it goes. But again, I really do think it's an upset season, and I'll give you my predictions. Rollie Tank. I think if Rollie doesn't catch him within, like I said, 2 or 3 rounds, Tank will probably stop him late. George Kambosos, Devin Haney. I think George Kambosos is going to touch him up and test his chin. And I think Devin Haney is going to be in deep water trying to deal with that volume and that power from George Kambosos. And he's fighting without his dad as well. So this is unfamiliar territory for him. So we'll see how that goes. And the other fight that we talked about, Canelo versus Golovkin, Canelo probably will knock him out within 6. So I don't know if that's an upset or not, but it may be a little surprising to people, but I think he's going to stop him. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment. Again, I'm almost up to 200 subscribers. I appreciate all the support and folks listening to the videos, and more to come. So enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and check out that weigh-in today with Tank and Rollie. That should be interesting. Hopefully both fighters make weight. Tank has had a history of a little dicey on the scale, so we'll see where he is with it. I hadn't seen his body as of late, because in most of these press conferences, he doesn't show his body. I don't know if he's on weight or not. It really doesn't. I can't really tell. Of course, you can't tell visually. Sometimes you can, but I'm a little concerned because he hadn't revealed his physique at this point. So hopefully he makes weight. I can't say I'm optimistic because he has a history of not doing so. So, you know, you got to have some sort of dedication to the sport. And, you know, Tank hadn't shown that in recent fights, so to speak, historically. So you got to have discipline and you got to have dedication to the sport. Tank, I think he may be dialed in. I hope so, but we'll see. I just don't know at this stage because, like I said, he has a history. Actually, he lost the belt on the scale. So we don't want that to happen because this should be an exciting fight. I would hate for something like that to happen for such a explosive fight, potentially explosive fight. So anyway, like, subscribe, comment. Have a great weekend. I'll probably post another video about the weigh-in if there's anything a little crazy going on or, you know, a little unusual. But anyway, have a good one. Enjoy your weekend. Deuces.